Hey, Corm, are you ready for somebody who idolized the ghost vagina man?
No.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're
There is somebody. And sadly, they did the same thing he did.
you're gonna be transphobic, aren't you, Corm? Yeah, probably.
Covering the dark part of the web. Darker content, so put the kids to bed. Banana, banana, banana bear dark. Dark, dark.
Oh, not too recently, but I think it was last year, there was um a pow pow that happened at a
Wow.
school. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and there's lots of stuff that came out. This They thought this person was a trans person and all this stuff. Turns out that wasn't true. However, it did come out that she idolized a few people that we've already talked about, like
The co-
a
uh,
lot.
so, don't tell me because the intro gave it away. It's the person that
Banana.
people so he could turn into uh a a, a cartoon OC based off of a shitty Nickelodeon cartoon, therefore making him a ghost girl.
Yeah,
Because he wanted a ghost vagina.
yeah, yeah. And we're gonna take a little deep dive into this person and how they got to this strange realization. And that was the shooting in Madison, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay. So that's the one that I- correct me if I'm wrong. That's the one that was like a Catholic school or something.
Yes, it was a
And
religious school. I think it was Catholic, but
that was like the only school shooting where like the news was like protecting the shooter
yeah,
and not the victims. And everyone was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa! Why are you doing that?" And a lot of people pointed out that it's probably because they're Christian and not like Muslim, or they're against the whole algorithm that they wanted for
yeah,
people to cut off their wieners. Oh, and tits too.
yep. It
Okay.
wasn't a trans. It wasn't hurting the trans community. All right, let's jump into
Only people that hurt the trans community is trans community.
this. That is true.
When a rare incident took place in which gun violence was carried out by a female student, both the media and social media went into a frenzy with rumors and misinformation. Was she a femcel, a female incel, a MAGA supporter, transgender? How old was she and what did she stand for? Well, let's get into the full story.
Before we go on, I just want to say that this is from Dire Trip, and go check out their videos because pretty good, very informative, very informative.
Hopefully that doesn't mean boring.
It isn't too often at all that
Oh
the
God, is he
perpetrator
a
in a school
femcel?
shooting is a girl. While standards for what constitutes a school shooting are wildly different depending on who you ask, it has been widely stated that there have only been about 4 female school shooters. Given that, when it does happen, it's only natural for the public to take notice and maybe even take a little bit of fascination in the
Okay.
case. Unfortunately, this level of
I know
fascination
I know we don't usually do this. I've done on Banana Bear and Friends, uh, talking about the person making the video. Uh, but does he have Down syndrome?
Maybe I
I
don't
guess. I
don't
mean,
know.
he's talking very well for someone that has Down syndrome. I mean, maybe he needs to wear some glasses, like me.
Can't get glasses from Banana Bear Shop, but you can get these cool T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, and hoodies too, like this one.
Yeah,
You got Propaganda Bear. I got Banana Bear and the NWO one. Hats, mugs. You know, um, and here's another thing. We're opening up another store.
what's
Yeah.
this?
So it's going to be an offshoot of Banana Bear show. There's nothing there yet, but Banana Bear and Friends, and it's it's worth shirts. It's shirts that you probably don't want to buy. Um, but they're funnier. It's not just banana bears and all this stuff. I don't know.
So it's like if Banana Bear Show Shop was Hot Topic, this is like the Spencers.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't made the designs for or anything yet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be more or less about the shit we cover. Like
Yep.
maybe Ghost Pussy would be one of them. Things like that. So like if the store like ever got shut down, I wouldn't care. Um, you know, and maybe plushies,
Oh.
socks, things that I don't want on the Banana Bear shop because Banana Bear shop actually gets like a lot of sales. A lot of people like our stuff.
Yeah.
And there will be more stuff coming on the Banana Bear shop. I'm working on like 3 designs right now. Uh, you know, so check it out. Go there. Don't look like this guy with a little blazer with a Down's face. Actually, he looks like Macaulay Culkin,
He did.
his brother.
Yeah, I was about to say not Macaulay Culkin, but his brother. I can believe that.
Yeah. So he doesn't have Downs. He just McCulkin face.
Complete chaos and a lot of misinformation.
That's the funny part of the show. Now it's going to get depressing.
Yeah.
Let's start back at the beginning. Madison, Wisconsin. The Abundant Life Christian School is a private, non-denominational school that hosts all grades from kindergarten up until 12th grade. The building for the church is located near the City Church Madison and is on the same campus as a children's learning center, which deals with infants younger than the age for kindergarten. It's a pretty small
So a preschool.
Yeah.
school overall, usually hosting less than 400 students from about 200 families in total. James Smith, who is the father of a girl who attended the school, said that Abundant Life often welcomes students who are either bullied or had a difficult time in general at other schools. Not only that, but the school really grew after the pandemic as a lot of parents really looked for some sort of alternative to regular public schools. Smith said, "We, as a school, desire to help those who are having troubles, to be able to provide a safe space for them to grow, at the same time balance across a safe space for the rest of our student body."
That's using a lot of woke language
Yeah.
for a church. That's weird.
Like most smaller schools the same size as Abundant Life, they didn't really have anything like metal detectors or a security officer stationed at the school. However, they did have cameras and other security features. In 2024, according to Barbara Weirs, campus director of elementary and school relations, the school had undergone training with the Madison Police Department in order to brush up on their security policies. Living in the Madison metropolitan
So basically, they were very, very underprepared for anything that would happen that would endanger anybody.
It's so weird. Like when we went to school and shit, like this happened once or twice everywhere. And then like I know when I graduated, there was like a brief period where it was still like this. And then out of fucking nowhere, like an inswell of this crap happened. And like it's hard to say who's at fault for these shootings. It is because the parents may have tried, but their kids are just weird. I mean, it could be like, I don't know, spanking your kids or disciplining them actually without like all these like experts saying, well, that's going to hurt your child's feelings.
Yeah.
Yep. Like, hell, okay, let me tell you this. I wasn't scared of being spanked by my dad or anything. I was scared of being slapped by my mom. Like, that shit hurts. Right?
Yeah.
Like, fucking, that shit. Deterrence. Like,
Mhm.
that's how kids learn.
Yes.
Like, oh, you do this, this will happen.
Yeah.
Like, you have a fork, and you're gonna put it in a light socket, and like, there's a video, like, it's from an old show. Like, it's trying to make fun of, like, oh, he's gonna learn this way.
Yeah.
Like, the kid is about to do it, and the mom's like, oh, wait, don't do that. He's like, no, let him. And then, now you're gonna know not to fucking do that.
Yeah, there's 2 ways kids learn. You can either tell them not to do it and like discipline them not to do it, or you can say, well, here's what
You're
I
gonna learn
think,
now.
and then good luck.
Well, like, hey, don't shoot a gun at school.
Yeah.
Should be like something that you don't have to teach your kid because it should be obvious, you know?
Well, that's a moral, like, so that's one of the things that I've kind of been watching recently is morals set by Christian standards. We've went away from that. So where are kids learning their moral standards from?
Well, okay, before like Christianity, there was something called the golden rule. Like, so societies have always had the like, hey, don't kill anybody, don't take anybody's shit, you know, like with trying not to get the religion in it, right? But like
Well,
it should be like known not to do that. Like you you can hate somebody for their actions, but don't hate them because of how they look. That should be like a common thing for all households, you know?
Well, it's not.
And what I know. However, like yeah, nowadays it's like, oh, I keep hearing people like, oh, as a black man, I know when I have kids, I have to warn them about white people.
Yep.
What? Like, you know what my parents said about black people?
They're just like anybody else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
not my fault that you're better at sports. I mean, I don't know what else to say. Like, all the shit that we're saying is like common fucking knowledge
Yeah.
that anybody should know. But I feel like a retard for saying it because I'm like, well, they know this, but
No.
surprisingly, they don't.
No. No. Man, it just gets worse. Like this person is just a very hard life, like very weird.
Area for her entire
like my
life.
ass.
Natalie Lynn Rupnow, who went by Samantha, was born on November 7th, 2009. Samantha's mother and father, Melissa and Jeff, got married for the first time in 2011,
The
2
first time.
years after Samantha was born. Things were a bit
Yeah.
complicated as not only did the couple go unmarried for a few years, but Melissa had also just gotten divorced from another man and had a daughter with
Ugh.
another man that she never married in the first
What's wrong with
place.
her
It
legs?
seems that her other daughter was cared for by other
Tattoos.
guardians and not
Oh,
raised by
those were
her.
tattoo. Okay.
The marriage didn't
Yeah.
last long at all, only lasting 2 years before Jeff and Melissa got divorced.
What a good run.
While it was agreed that Samantha would spend most of her time with her mom, it didn't really work out that way. Instead, she was abruptly passed
yeah,
back and forth by
goddamn.
her parents every 2 to 3 days for the next several years. But only a few years later in 2017, Jeff and Melissa decided it was time to tie the knot once again. While they remarried in 2017, again it wouldn't last, with the couple divorcing yet again in 2020 around the time when lockdown started.
What's worse? Two people staying together and they hate each other, or two people divorcing over and over again because they hate each other?
Well, I mean, we don't know what the reason was.
Uh, Typically in a divorce, it's because two people don't get along. That's what leads to cheating. That's what leads to many of the different issues that you have in a marriage.
No, I get that, but like, dude, you got divorced once before.
Yeah.
There was probably alimony checks and all this other stuff, right?
I don't.
But like, okay, oh, we're doing it for the kid. Then why are you getting divorced? Like they're people are dumb, Mikey. Like
No,
I
they never did it for the kid. I don't think. I think it was more of a selfish thing for them. Just
this
Yes,
show
like-
is killing my faith in people. Like
yeah,
even like the locals, all this, I get it. Rotten bunch, you're always gonna have a rotten fruit and the batch, but fucking the people that aren't like the rotten ones, the ones that like kind of force rottenness on other people,
yeah.
they're just as fucking bad. And
Mhm.
you see it more and more, and people like this, and it's just a pain in the ass. And I'm not saying like if you're divorced, you're a horrible person or anything.
Right.
I'm just saying like this shit, like it I hate to do this, but like I had like a script in mind for like this zombie movie,
Uh-huh.
right? And like the main character was gay, and I'm only bringing this up because like the ending of the movie.
Okay.
So they're like, this guy he divorced his wife, he had a kid, but it turned out he was gay, blah blah. Blah. And the ending of the movie, like it'd be a zombie movie, but then they would go to a place and it's like, oh, you find out it was a time traveler, and the time traveler was the kid because he was trying to like see his father, and he didn't know about the other stuff, or he's trying to like make sure his dad didn't like divorce his like mom or something like that. So like the whole moral of the thing is like the parents' actions have consequences bigger than just them not being happy or something like that. And, like it like it's not the kid's fault because like he's trying to prevent something bad that happened to him,
Yeah.
but therefore he caused a zombie apocalypse. You see what I'm
Yep.
getting at? And now this script will probably never happen. That's why I'm bringing it up. I'm just I'm not so pretentious where I'm like, oh, the movie I made. It was an idea. And I was just thinking
Yeah.
to myself though, like somebody needs to make a movie like that. Like,
Yeah.
your parent, like the parents are, human beings themselves, but their actions have consequences.
That's my two favorite things too: time travel and
And
zombies.
zombies?
Yeah.
You have weird tastes.
Yes, I know.
This time, though, they decided to be a bit more diplomatic and split custody more evenly and in a more predictable fashion. Samantha would spend 2 days with her dad, then 2 with her mom, and then 3 with a parent that would alternate every week. As if this wasn't enough chaos for their kid, Jeff and Melissa decided to marry yet again, yes, for a third time in 2021. However, this time they were all split up again after only a few months. By July of 2022, Samantha herself was enrolled in therapy. This was done with the intention that hopefully therapy could help her deal with her chaotic home life. Samantha began to state that her mom was on a lot of drugs and her dad was quite the alcoholic. To what degree this is true is uncertain, but it's something that Samantha never
him.
took.
Look at that. Look at that.
You're not a Viking, stop it.
Samantha didn't quite like therapy. Of the experience, she later wrote, "My therapist sucks. He's just some weak and fat guy who doesn't deserve everything he has now. Nobody deserves anything good."
Based.
Samantha didn't think very highly of school either. She claimed to have had a hard time at school for most of her life, later writing, "I've always been a quiet kid, I'd say. Or at least that's what everyone around me has said, and never really had the brains for most things because I wasn't smart enough for most people around me, even though I'm good at science and some stuff. Nobody really looked at me in a good way in elementary or middle school, nor even in high school right now. Doesn't matter much, because I like being alone."
Does that sound like Gorham?
A loser.
Dang!
Be smart.
I was gonna say autism.
Yeah, well, when women have autism, it's weird, Mikey.
Yeah.
Because they're normally not the incelish people, but obviously this is not the same thing.
Yep.
But
in 2022, a mediator with the courts ruled that Jeff and Melissa would once again share custody of Samantha. However, this time she would live primarily with her father. Samantha's dad, Jeff, had become a pretty devout Christian over the years, sharing photos of himself attending church events and functions online. In many of these pictures was Samantha, who seemed to be happy to attend. To those around him, he would dote on Samantha constantly. He often posted pictures of her and boasted about her achievements, like earning a purple belt in karate. He would often gush about Samantha, praising her and talking about how much fun they had at various events. Often he even used pictures of Samantha as his own profile picture. However, Samantha would tell a very different story of her father behind the scenes. She would vent online to her online friends that her mom struggled with drug addiction for years and that her father was still on the booze. She cited that these factors, along with bullying at school, were a big factor in the pessimism and hatred she felt towards other people and life in general. Speaking of her home life, she wrote, "My so-called family never included me because I was too weird for them. My father never treated me with respect. My father will always make me stand out in the worst possible way yet, bring up how I fail school or can't get out of bed simply because I don't want to leave. He makes me look like a freak to his family and friends. He says so much, but look at his bad side. I never really liked my father, to be exact, because honestly, why should I? Our hate is mutual to each other. He will never see me as his daughter. He will never love me like he loved his ex or her kids or even alcohol, but that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore because nobody heard me out and just made fun of me my entire life, and I'm sick of it." Continuing to speak of her home life, she wrote, "I was the wrong child of the family. My parents admit they didn't want me, nor never did even if I've grown. I'm always the one who sat out or in another room because they didn't want to interact with me at any point in time. Then I stayed in my room all day during the day and night and after and before school as well." Still though, Samantha and her father kept attending various functions together and her father didn't seem to be aware of how she felt towards him. In August of 2024, the two decided to join a gun club together and go shooting for sport. Jeff posted a picture of Natalie shooting on the range at the North Bristol Sportsman's Club in Sun Prairie. When a commenter asked if that was his daughter, he happily responded with, "Sure is. We joined NBSC this spring and we have been loving every second of it." However, with this picture alone, cracks were beginning to show. In the photo, Samantha was wearing a black shirt with a logo that reads KMFDM. KMFDM is a popular German industrial band, and on paper this would normally be nothing unordinary. However, anyone well-versed in the history of school shootings will likely understand the significance. KMFDM was one of the favorite bands of Eric Harris, one of the shooters behind the Columbine massacre. In some of the very few videos of Eric Harris that exist, he is seen wearing a KMFDM shirt and even talked about his love for the band in his journal. Ever since, other school shooters and mass killers alike who felt Columbine was an inspiration have gone on to love the band and wear their t-shirts as well. Samantha was well aware of this connotation. Much like how many mass killers have been victims of bullying, Samantha was driven to hatred by it as well. It seems that it was due to her being bullied that, in 2024, she was transferred to the Abundant Life Christian School in the first place. However, even after trying out this new school, she didn't feel much better. She wrote, "Doesn't help that school was a pain in my ass while getting teased and pushed around. I always got picked on for being out of pocket, as if the quietness was out of pocket for them and was just too odd or something. I moved schools. What's already happening? Picked on again, just not any worse." A woman named Lindsay O'Connor, whose daughter and son attended the school, said that Samantha was very much to herself and was known for being a little odd. She said that Samantha usually showed up to school wearing a collared shirt with a tie, jeans, and combat boots. She said that Samantha often creeped out her own daughter, but added that after about a month into the school year, she tried to have some conversations with her to various degrees of success. A couple of other parents, James Smith and his wife Rebecca, said that Samantha was still very new to the school and had only been there for the fall semester. Neither their daughter or her friends ever saw Samantha speaking to another student even once. Two other students, Samantha, sometimes called Sam, was known for being what they called an odd version of preppy in a way, saying that she would often show up to school in suits and ties. They added that she didn't have many friends and was very isolated, noting that she was known for pounding down copious amounts of energy drinks.
Super healthy.
That shouldn't be a thing though. Like a school shooter, energy drink.
Yeah, but I mean, it's also shouldn't be a thing for kids either. Don't let your kids drink a lot of energy drinks.
Little did many people know, Samantha had been talking a lot online with a boy over the internet from Germany that she began to call her boyfriend. And knowing him for 2 years, she had gotten to the point where she felt very close to him. She got to the point where she was texting him constantly over Discord and social media, with this boyfriend saying that she was kind, generous to him, and usually very cheerful. He added that she had always made various little gifts for him and had never really expected anything in return. However, while this may seem like a good change of pace in Samantha's life, her other social media activity was anything but uplifting.
Ooh, this is great. Probably gonna censor that. Yeah.
Samantha began to show more and more signs of hatred in her posts, namely towards black people and to women she described as whores. She also began to show much more clear signs of admiration of school shooters, using their photos, speaking highly.
Yikes.
Like, whatever. I'm going to just say the same thing that anybody else would say. Weirdo.
Yeah.
Of them and clearly idolizing them. Samantha had an account on Tumblr which hosted a large array of images related to both guns and shootings. She also posted pictures of Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland High School shooter, and made posts mentioning a 2007 school shooting that took place in Finland. Eventually, Samantha implied that she had been given a gun for her birthday, posting an animated gif of a gun with a caption that read, "Happy birthday to me." Even on things as mundane as Samantha's Cash App account, she used the picture from Columbine as her profile photo. Over on X/Twitter, Samantha used a profile photo of Mikhail Pivnev, a Russian school shooter who had been fascinated with Columbine as well.
Just a reminder, if you're a parent out there, talk to your kids. Talk to your kids, be mindful of what they're doing. You see something weird, ask them about it. I mean, it's a simple thing you can do.
Oh no,
On this
they
account-
can't. They're too busy.
She shared very much the same sort of content as on Tumblr. Her page featured a video from a school stabbing that took place in Sweden in 2015. It's noted that, in that stabbing, the killer was believed to have been targeting those with immigrant backgrounds. In addition, she even posted a video of someone taking their own life at a shooting range. By this time, Samantha was already considering
Dang.
shooting herself. Given that she would have access to guns while at the shooting range, it's possible that she may have been considering this as a method for herself. Samantha also had an account on Watch People Die, a website that is exactly what it sounds like. Once a community on Reddit that was eventually banned, now WPD is a standalone website where users post and comment on photos and videos of real-life deaths. Samantha had an account there under the username Crossixer. Here, she only posted once, showing a video of another mass killer, Pekka Eric Alvian, shooting his gun, also using an animated gif of Pekka as her profile background. In this thread, she took offense to another user seemingly finding Pekka's hands attractive. Using slurs and a flood of emojis, she insulted the user. She also expressed her hatred for certain true crime fans that fetishize.
Yeah. I'm not going to repeat that, but you can read it on the screen. I'm going to,
killers, calling them TCC slop. On TikTok, where Samantha went by the username Targeted Bloodsport, she rarely posted herself but liked and shared a massive amount of memes. While many of these memes were completely mundane, many of them clearly stood out. She made her love for school shooters and mass shooters in general very clear, posting memes involving many of them that you might recognize from this channel. First of all, Samantha made her love for Eric Harris very clear on this account, sharing multiple memes related to him.
like, I'm not a fan of red flag laws, you know, where people get flagged for having this and that social media issue and stuff, but there should be a line somewhere where somebody sees this stuff and is like, wait, we need to do something.
I mean, it's so tough because like I'm so pro like free speech,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but there is like this is like a scream for attention,
Yeah, and
or I don't know if it's a scream for help so much,
Yeah.
but attention, yeah.
yeah, this is something needs to be done. I'm not saying take away anything, you know. I don't think kids should have social media. This person was 15, so I really think we should not let kids have social media until 18, because there's so much stuff that can happen, like between kids and between adults and kids and stuff. Like, we need to regulate that 100% a lot
Mhm.
more than we do. Not necessarily for anyone above 18, you know. Let them do what they want, post what they want, as long as it doesn't affect anybody under the age of 18. But man, it's like, you know, you see all this stuff now and it's like sirens going off in your head.
Next,
Yeah.
she also seemed to take quite an interest in Randy Stair himself, posting many memes
we
relating to him
go.
as well. And then, perhaps most oddly of all, she took a large fascination with none other than Elliot Rodger, the most famous incel of all time. In fact, it seems that she had quite a crush on him, posting about him more than any of the other killers she featured on her page.
Yeah, you heard that right. You heard that right. And if you want to know more about either of those people, we have Banana Bear Darks on them.
Mm-hmm.
Just go back and look.
Sadly.
By the memes
Yeah.
she reposted, she seemed to hold him in fairly high regard and identify with the way that he felt. She even used the Saint Elliot imagery that many of Elliot's most devout followers use when praising his actions. Given that Elliot was an incel and hated women, it goes without saying that Samantha's fascination with him and empathy for him was a bit strange. However, she hated people so much by this point that it's likely she simply admired him for his hatred itself in general. Samantha began to think about how she wanted to end her life. She still wanted to go through with it, but she felt instead that she would take a few others out along the way, much in the same way as her idols. And, much like her idols, she felt that one necessary move, if she were to go down this path, would be to write a manifesto. So
Oh,
she
of
began
course.
doing just that.
Mhm.
Samantha titled her manifesto War Against Humanity. In total, it was 6 pages long. While a good chunk of the manifesto is mindless, edgy teenage word salad, with Samantha speaking of her hatred of mankind without any real reason given, there are some bits of information that can be used to see into Samantha's motivations here and there. Early on, she writes, "I've grown to hate people and society. It's truly not my fault, though. It never was. But all of you and the world have done to me is pick and tease me. You've pushed me into a corner with no help whatsoever." She then gets more into who she hates the most specifically. She writes, "Whores and scum are things I hate the most and will always hate. You have no meaning." Samantha really hated black people as well,
Oh,
writing,
God.
"In words, though, worse. Once you sleep with one, you are one." Samantha would continue by bragging about
Wow.
how much better she is than the rest of society, stating, "I'm glad to be different and not the same as other people. I know how to be formal. I know how to use my words. Even if I get mad at you, there always has been a reason."
Hold on, hold on. I know how to use my words. However, in a defining moment in my life's history, I'm going to use a gun.
Well,
Hmm.
words don't fly out of, like bullets do.
Yeah, they're not quite as lethal.
But they sting as hard.
Oof.
I don't care what you think, nor would I really ever. I am part of the real thought and the real revolution.
Oh,
She
revolution.
included a page that listed her inspirations. First and foremost was who seemed to be her favorite criminal, Pekka Erik Alvian, the perpetrator of the Okela High School massacre in Finland in 2007. She stated that he was a true inspiration, making the world a better place with his final act. Next, she listed Ardra Küçükyerim, a young man who randomly stabbed 5 people in Turkey in August of 2024, calling him an ultimate saint, a being of true nature, and a word of the truth. Ardra was very vocal in his own manifesto, praising those who commit hate crimes and calling them saints as well. The next influence she listed was Vladislav Roslyakov, the perpetrator of the Kerch Polytechnic College massacre in Crimea in 2018. She lists him as being a masterpiece of a price. Afterwards, she listed a few more names in almost an honorable mention sort of way. Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold of the Columbine Massacre, Patrick Woods Crucius, the El Paso Walmart gunman, and Guilherme Tauchi of the Sudano School Massacre in Brazil. Samantha decided to write this last bit out, making it very clear to the reader. Nobody knows why I'm doing this. I got my weapons by lies and manipulation and my father's stupidity. I planned on
Wow.
shooting myself a while ago, but thought maybe it's better for evolution rather than just one stupid boring suicide, which hopefully I'll reach that point. I've planned this for myself and nobody else. I act alone. There would have been no way to change what has happened. Samantha posted one last video to TikTok, showing the tree in the yard at her father's house blowing in the rain. As a caption she wrote, "May I die like how beautiful the rain is."
Stupid edgy teenager.
Yeah, I know. Like I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, dude, why are you so edgy? Like I kind of get guys being edgy,
Hmm.
because I've said this before. Us guys, like, I don't want to ruin anybody's guys' fantasies here, but like, you're fucked. If you're in an emotional state, like, oh, I need help, all this stuff, you're fucked. Man up, stop being a pussy. Get those straps because no one's gonna care unless you become rich. And that sounds bad, but that's the truth. You know.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
that's fair.
and fuck, but women don't have to do that. Women,
Not typically.
you just have to, like, I know. Oh, you're mansplaining. Bear. Oh, blah blah blah. Stop being a, blah blah blah. I fucking hate some of you. I fucking hate. Um, but like, it's the damn truth. Like,
Yeah.
I- you don't have to be upset at the world. The world is your oyster.
Hmm.
You know. I don't understand how some women don't understand this. A lot of women do, and that's why like they use it to their advantage.
Yep.
But like, where did she go wrong? Were her parents this bad?
I
You
mean,
know?
it's a mixture of things. I don't think it's just one thing. It's you just have the perfect storm of uh social media access with parents who are too obsessed with themselves slash somebody getting bullied and picked on and having, feeling isolated. And then they find a community online at 15 where like you find these communities and it defines your whole life sometimes. And it's like a
It's so
perfect
dumb.
storm of one thing after another leads them into this one specific trajectory where they're going to completely ruin their lives and others, emphasis on the others, that's kind of
She didn't even get past high school.
right.
Like,
Yeah.
socially, probably the worst part of your life, right?
Yeah.
Because like, if you're a nerd and all this stuff, going to college and stuff, that will change. I've seen nerdy people become like frat boys, things of that nature. Like, it all depends on like, uh, how you interact with the situation, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then after that, you have real world where you just don't have to be a weirdo.
And even after that, like every on average 10 years, people change slightly. 5 to 10 years, they have experiences that change them into new people. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. It's just how life goes, and then people get opportunities, and that's how life goes. And these teenagers, like kids, one of the reasons that you got to be so careful at that age is because they are very um influenced by what's around them because they haven't had lots of experience. They don't understand that life ebbs and flows. So what's now cannot will not necessarily be the future. Some 10, 5, even 2 years from now, there could have been something come along and just completely up uh change her life and make it for the better. But
Mm-hmm.
somebody who's experienced nothing but bad stuff, even if it's not like super bad, um like what we think of in a bad household, like abuse and stuff like that. Even if it was just neglect and parents being too involved with their lives and their marriage and their divorce and remarrying and divorce and remarrying, and they can't get on the same page, like still that's a bad home life. That can bring on like these feelings of isolation, and like the parents aren't being there for the kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's the number one thing that parents need to remember is like be there for your kids. No matter what's going on in your life, you brought these kids into this life. So
You owe
be
it to
there
them
for your kids. You owe it. Yes, 100% you owe this. You
because
owe
like
it to them.
I remember there was like a long time ago, there was like this person that sued their parents for birthing them.
Yeah, I remember that. That's so
Dumb.
dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then soon after, Samantha would pass the point of no return. December 16th, 2024. According to Abundant Life's website, it was the last school day before the school would hold Christmas break. Samantha packed 2 handguns into her bag and headed off to school. She began her day at school just like any other, heading to class and sitting down. What did differ was that she talked to at least one other student, saying that she would likely have to go see the school nurse. While it appears she didn't go to see the nurse, it's evident that she did go to use the restroom. She sent her manifesto to her boyfriend over WhatsApp at roughly 9:30 a.m. Given that he wasn't free at the time, it was left unread. Samantha waited a little over an hour before she would make her next move. That was when she uploaded a picture to X at 10:45 a.m. In the picture, she's seen sitting in the school making an OK sign with her hand. This is notable because other shooters, mainly white supremacists, have used this same hand signal as a sort of dog whistle in the past. Then came 10:50 a.m. This was when Samantha decided to upload her manifesto to X publicly. While she hoped for this to be her magnum opus, there was one problem. She had made the document on Google Docs and forgot to ever make it public. So the link she posted was unavailable to anyone who tried to view it. This led to her getting made fun of in the comments, with other users telling her nobody could even see what she just tried to post. However, Samantha had already put the phone away and seemingly never saw any of the comments, as she never succeeded in making the document public.
That's
Dumbass.
horrible, horrible. Um, but okay, just think about that. She sent that to her boyfriend at the time, which how does somebody like this have a boyfriend and like they not realize what's going on? But besides the point, uh, had that person taken the time to look at that message or had the time, all this might have been avoided.
Maybe.
Possibly.
I'm not going to put it on the boyfriend.
No. I'm definitely not doing that. But I'm thinking like how little things in life could may possibly change an outcome.
Yeah.
Samantha made her way out into a study hall that, at the time, was filled with a variety of students from different years.
Also, that is 100% a cry for help. That is somebody saying, "Hey, look at this. This is what
Yeah.
I'm gonna do." And
She
then,
wanted to be stopped.
yeah, then waits an hour. Yeah.
At the time, a 42-year-old substitute teacher named Aaron West was covering for the regular teacher who would normally manage these study halls, who was on vacation at the time. Shortly before 11 a.m., only minutes after posting her manifesto, Samantha pulled out one of her handguns and quickly began firing. While Samantha's boyfriend initially said that he had no idea of what she was doing, he soon changed his tone, instead saying that he had tried to stop her. After immediate backlash from the internet as a whole, he soon converted his X account into a tribute for Samantha, blaming everyone on Earth for making her do what she did before privating his profile entirely and going radio silent.
So, whoever's this guy's parents need to watch him too. Watch him too. Just saying.
Joe Biden, president at the time, condemned the shooting as shocking and unconscionable. He called for Congress to take immediate action to address the problem of gun violence in the nation, saying
course he
that more
did.
was needed to protect kids in schools. He advocated for Congress to pass laws that would require universal background checks, as well as
That's
a
what-
national red flag law.
That, bro. Anytime I've bought in a gun, I have to go through background checks.
Yeah. And
Like,
then you have to wait 1 to 3 years, 1 to
No.
3 months, right?
No.
No?
No, I get mine quick,
Okay.
and
Good.
that's because my record is like fucking clean.
Oh, okay. I've never had to. I know here in some other states surrounding in the South, they have like trade stuff that you can do.
Yeah,
So
that's not the case in Ohio, but at least I know. Yeah, you need uh, a photo ID.
mhm.
You have to fill out all these things. You have to be truthful on the thing. If you're not truthful, that is a federal offense.
Yep.
And then after that goes back to their interface, it gives you the okay or not. And they do that at gun shows that I've been at. They do that at gun places, and you just have to be a law-abiding citizen, which I am. And by no means would a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, or any teenager be able to get a gun.
Right.
I understand where the father was trying to bond with her kid with guns. I mean, that's what my dad did. That's
Right.
why I'm into guns, is because of my dad. However, my dad like showed me like the respect with the gun.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I ever have a gun, like even on camera, I would never point it at the camera,
Right.
because you don't do that to a person. It just I don't want to blame the parents, but this is a parent thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And watch where your kids are going online.
Yep. 100%. 100%. And he just continues to talk more about the misinformation and stuff that was spread around. It was on both sides, using it for their own
Political-
agenda.
Yeah, and this is the worst thing. Like, yeah, we have a conservative view here on the Banana Bear Show,
Mhm.
but we can tell you that Republicans are fucking jackasses too.
Yep. 100%.
By far, yeah. All politicians are horrible.
Yep.
When you could use this for a platform for something you want, fuck off.
Yep.
Fuck off. You're not. And Joe Biden, the first thing, oh, you got to give gun control. It has nothing to do with gun control.
Nope.
You can't broad stroke shit, and that's what I'm tired of.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the broad strokes, saying like, oh, because this happened, we have to get rid of automatic weapons or ARs. That's not what ARs stand for.
Yep.
A lot of the politicians on the left don't even understand that.
Nope.
And on top of that, with gun safety stuff, if anything, younger people should be trained in guns.
Yep.
You know?
I agree.
So if the situation ever happens, they would understand like that. Like I said, my dad showed me like respect firearms.
Mm-hmm.
Because you you got both sides. You got, gang members. Like, oh, I got
Yeah.
this gun. Like, look, blah, blah, blah. They don't respect guns.
Nope.
A true person that respects guns, you could see how they show the gun off, all that stuff, because there's certain things you have to know. And safety is like the number one thing, because you have something that can kill somebody
Yep.
or hurt you.
Yeah.
Stop being dumb.
Amen to that. Stop being dumb and check on your kids. And with that, we'll call this an episode. Be sure to like, subscribe, share the video with anybody and everybody. Check out the Banana Bear Show shop and become a member if you haven't. We have a live show on Sundays at 11 p.m. usually.
Oh, yeah. On top of that, too, on our Rumble, every Tuesday night at 8 o'clock, well, we have like a movie night thing going on until they shut that down.
We'll see.
So, yeah. So make sure to check out our Rumble, Banana Bear Show for that. And we also have Banana Bear and Friends. That's on Thursdays now. Yeah, and I'm working on some video things for Banana Bear Show involving puppets.
Of course.
And hey, if you're scared of this world, buy a gun. Make sure you get the background check and learn how to use it. Don't like be scared, because a lot of people that are against guns are scared of guns. And it is obviously, yeah. Are you scared of knives too? You should be, because they could cut you.
Yeah. If you're not careful with the knife.
And the worst thing is, because we didn't bring this up, the big thing that the media did with this person was, oh, they're trans.
Yep.
Not once did they say they were trans. Why did they use that? That's fucking stupid.
Yep.
I mean, don't get me wrong. Any school shooter should be mocked and made fun of. And I didn't really do it to this girl because, this video really didn't give me anything to make fun of about.
Yeah.
Other than she's dumb. Why does she want a ghost pussy when she already has one?
She has a real.
Yeah. Ghost pussies are for losers. Don't be a ghost pussy. It's going to be a t-shirt. If they allow me to do it.
We'll see. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Fuck your ghost pussy. I like you guys, but I wish you Banana Bear Show would be less transphobic.
I like you guys, but I wish the Banana Bear Show would be less transphobic. Andy Dick screaming his poo-filled cries. Cyrax covered in scabs with bed bugs lies. The Banana Bear Show! Subscribe and buy a t-shirt. Lockout coverage makes you laugh till it hurt. The Banana Bear Show! Subscribe to the channel. The Banana Bear Show! Subscribe to the channel. The Banana Bear Show!